Next up, Falcons and Panthers. These late season NFC South games are just awesome. They're wonderful. Uh, Worst matchup for Desmond Ritter, 10th best matchup for Bryce Young. Having said that, I guarantee you I have Desmond Ritter ranked higher, and that's a scary notion. I have Ritter at 22. I have Bryce Young at 31. That's gross, but that's the way it is. I don't want to start either of them, but I would prefer to start Ritter. It's gross. What do you think?
I'm avoiding both quarterback. I have Bryce Young in the league and I'm benching him for Tommy DeVito. Like I'm not rolling out Bryce Young. He's just been so bad. You can't trust him. It's particularly in the playoffs. Like there's good more than likely in one QB, there's going to be a guy that's streamable that is probably on the waiver wire he can grab that he can start over both these guys. It sounds like a disaster from either one.
I had Easton Stick ahead of Bryce Young and Tommy DeVito, so I have Nick Mullins ahead of him.
Which is saying something because Nick Mullins isn't that good.
Third best matchup for Bijan, who is going to absolutely crush this week. It's not even going to be fair. 28th best matchup for the Carolina Panthers. I don't really want anything to do with that. If I had to pick one, it would be Hubbard. Bijan is my RB4 on the week, and that feels low. My next highest is going to be Hubbard. He's all the way down at 22. I want nothing to do with anybody else in this running back room. How about you?
Yeah. It's auto RB1 week for Bijan. Like he's going to get the volume. He's going against a bad rush defense. So it's like it's wheels up for Bijan this week. This is kind of the week we've been waiting for. He's had a good week 2 weeks ago, but outside of that, he hasn't really had any boom weeks. I expect this week to be a boom week for him. And really, when it comes down to Carolina running backs, Hubbard's the guy getting the work. The last 2 weeks, he's had 25 and 23 carries. So like, sign me up for Chuba Hubbard. He's fine. Like he's a flexible running back just based on volume he's going to get in this matchup. I want nothing to do with Miles Sanders. Like I'm not even tempted to play him.
Terrible matchups for both receiving cores, and to be honest, if I can, I'd like to avoid all of them. My highest is going to be gross. I'm thinking my highest is going to be in the wide receiver 3 range, but let me look. Carolina, I have 32 for Adam Thielen, 36 for Drake London, so that fits. So I have their best 2 options as desperation wide receiver 3s, and that feels completely right for me. Having said that, Mingo is kind of an absolute you're really in trouble start. Other than that, like I said, it's 2 wide receiver 3s and not a whole hell of a lot else.
Yeah, I have London as the highest guy, which just tells you where Carolina's offense is at right now.
Yeah.
But London, he's just a good wide receiver. So, like, I get it. The issues with him is it ebbs and flows each week. This is a bad matchup for wide receivers. So, not really thrilled to start him, but he's my wide receiver 24, and then it's Thielen 30, and then it's just like you're talking about. You can take a dart throw on Mingo if you want, but you got to have a better option somewhere else to do that.
Yep. Tight ends, terrible matchup for not terrible. Bad matchup for Pitts. I have him at tight end 13. That's how bad he's been. I have Hurst, but it's not Hurst. It's Tremble or whatever. While Hurst is dealing with an illness, whoever it is not going to be a top 20 tight end for me. I'm avoiding them. The kickers, Pinheiro, second best matchup. Do not care. I think he's on my avoid list this week. He is all the way down. Yeah, he's 30 for me. Koo, even in a bad matchup, he is 10th for me. The 2 defenses is where it gets interesting. Both have decent matchups. I went with the Falcons at 7th. I don't mind rolling out them. Carolina, decent matchup. Still don't want anything to do with them. They're at 20. So Pitts, if you have to. Koo is a start. Falcons are a start. Panthers, it's a decent matchup, but I think they're still an avoid. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you. You just have to be very careful if you're rolling out Kyle Pitts this week. It's not been good for him this year. He's tied at 14 on the year, so like that tells you where he's at. And like he survived last week because he had a touchdown. But if you're chasing him, just be prepared. He has a very low floor in the games he plays, so it is what it is. But yeah, like I'll play, the Atlanta defense of the 2 defenses.
I remember this time last year, the guy who owned Kyle Pitts in my home league was out of it and was trying to sell, and the offers he was turning down were just ridiculous for Kyle Pitts. Now this year, the guy who owns him is also out of it. There seems to be an emerging trend, but he was trying to sell and he sent him to me for Trey McBride and I just laughed it off. Can you imagine? Like this time last year, he was sending, offers for like Mark Andrews and shit like that. And this year I'm laughing him right out of the building when he offers for Trey McBride. I'm like, yeah, no fucking thank you.
Imagine the plus you could have got on top of Trey McBride last year because Trey McBride was awful last year. Now it's like, nope, Trey McBride way above comp. It just shows you dynasty, right? It's pretty funny.